Okay, the recording started, so go ahead, Rose.
Okay, thank you everybody for your patience as we work through our audio issues, and welcome to our CA Harvest Software Change Manager monthly webcast. This month we are featuring the CA Harvest Software Change Manager work area, and our presenter is Sridhar today, and he will be going through a PowerPoint presentation and a quick demonstration on the Harvest work area. So I am going to turn it over to Sridhar, and he'll walk you through. At the end, we'll have a Q&A session for those of you who are dialed in through your computer. More than likely, you'll have to type your question and answer in the Q&A area within the WebEx. We will read through all of those and make sure that your questions are addressed. For those of you who have dialed in using a telephone, you are probably on mute and will remain on mute until we complete the webcast, at which time we'll instruct you how to unmute yourself and ask a question. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Sridhar. And
hello everyone. I'm Sridhar from SCM team. Today we'll quickly go through the advantages of WorkArea, which CA Harvest SCM Workbench provides for the development act. So is everyone able to see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So today's agenda, first we'll go through the developer's desire from any version control clients. What a developer expects from a tool or IDE in order to connect to the version control system while doing any development work. Later, we will discuss how CA Harvest SCM provides support for the developers. After that, we'll quickly go through the overview of the work area, following it up with a demonstration and Q&A sessions. We'll just jump into the next slide where we will discuss more about the developer's desire. So any developer would love to have following features while doing any sort of development or working with version control clients. So
Sridhar,
sorry?
Go
ahead.
Yeah, I'm hearing echo.
Okay. Yeah, just.
And yeah, where is the problem?
Cool now?
Yeah, I think I'm getting twice actually.
Rose, is it
problem
same with
from
you?
my side?
There's a problem with the WebEx, Kola?
I think so, Rose. I mean, I'm hearing twice.
Oh, you're hearing an echo.
Yeah.
Okay, Len, are you able to mute all lines?
I can certainly try to. Let
Okay.
me, all right, let's try that. I want to make sure that I don't mute us, since it isn't tied to our names.
Can you hear me, Len?
So,
I can hear you, yes.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Sridhar.
Okay. Shall we continue then?
And Kola, send a chat if this is better, please.
Okay. So we are in the slide where we were discussing developers' desire from any version, working with any version control systems. So he would love to use any IDE of his choice while developing, wish to work offline more often. He would love to compare the local copy of his files with the repository, compare the various versions in the repository, use any code compare tool if he finds some conflicts between the local copy and the repository copy. And you should be able to filter unwanted files while synchronizing. just beef up on these particular desires actually. Being a Java developer, would always like to use Eclipse IDE. But here comes a requirement where I need to work with any other Java IDEs such as IntelliJ IDEs, something like that. But from Harvest side, we don't have any plugin for the IntelliJ IDE. So in that case, I am forced to use IntelliJ IDE, so Eclipse plugin, because there is a version control plugin for that, and I will be more easily connect to the repository and think changes. So compare with repository and versions, like if I'm doing some development, I should be able to compare my versions with the repository, whether it be the total repository or with any version in the repository. One more thing is like developers often like to use their own choice of compare tools. Myself, I generally use Spinmerge. Some other person might use Beyond Compare, all the etc. tools actually. So in this, his desire would be from whatever ID he is developing, he wish to compare the changes with his own choice of compare tool. And the last one is filter unwanted files while synchronizing. I can code some example, like if you are working with any Java project, bin folder gets generated, wherein all .class files will be there. But while synchronizing, I should be able to filter all such files and folders. All these are couple of desires which I would relate, like developers generally desire while working with. So the next slide is like here we will discuss like how Harvest SCM support for developers. Harvest SCM has three main interfaces in order to communicate to the version control system. One is SCM Workbench, second is Eclipse plugin, and third one is Visual Studio plugin. It also has many other interfaces, but these three are the main which developers use. First, we'll talk about the Eclipse plugin and Visual Studio plugin. These two plugins are used by the developers, and these plugins provide SCM capabilities from inside the IDE. So people who work with Eclipse and Visual Studio are good because they have the ready-made plugin available in order to communicate to the version control system. Coming to Workbench, if at all some user wants to connect from Workbench, it's a standalone GUI client which communicates to the SCM server. So if we don't have any plugins for other IDs, the only source is to have check out the code from the Workbench, create R tag, and work on the files, modify them, and check in back it. So in the next slide, we will discuss all the challenges which we generally face from using Workbench. So with Workbench, you always have to be online mode because all the changes have to be connected to the server in order to get or release. In order to modify any file, first you need to create an R tag, perform any change, and then you need to commit. Third one is like a developer has to remember what to check out and check in. Like think of a project which has hundreds of files. I've checked out all the files in reserve mode, now out of which I have modified only 2 files. Now as a developer, I need to remember all the 2 files which I have modified in those 100 files. This is a huge burden on the developer. Not flexible when it comes to refactoring, renaming, and moving files. Here also we can think of example where if developer wants to play out around some refactoring changes, he wants to rename, modify, move some file. But with Workbench, it always has to be committed first. All the refactoring changes have to be committed in order to reflect in the main trunk, then get those changes and work on it. Example, like if you rename a folder, you need to get the renamed folder into the workspace, check out that, and edit the files inside it. In it, that also you need to early commit, So all these such type of complexities arise in using Workbench. So makes concurrent development complex, as RTAGs blocks other users from modifying resources when directly working on trunk. So think of an example where two developers want to modify same file on a trunk. So with Workbench, it is not possible, because once a developer creates a RTAG on a trunk, the other developer or other colleague can't use, because there is a latest version which has RTAG. So this makes it impossible for the users who use in this mode. So how we provide a solution for this problem? Ideal solution would be to offer plugins for all the IDs with offline and online support. This would be the ideal solution. But what is the problem is, like, creating and maintaining of these SCM plugins for all the IDs and for all customers is unmanageable. So for this type of problem, Harvest SCM WorkArea is the best solution which addresses all these problems. Just what you need to do is just create a WorkArea from the Workbench, open the project in the respective IDs. Like if at all you want to use Eclipse ID, you can use Eclipse, Visual Studio, or IntelliJ ID, whatever the developer wishes, and just start working. Any questions till now?
If anyone has any question, you can key in the #6 on your telephone. If you have dialed in through your computer, please use the Q&A section in the WebEx in the upper right-hand corner and ask a question there. Okay, I don't see any in Q&A.
Okay, we'll continue out there then.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there aren't any in the Q&A, and there are very few people that are dialed into the session via their phone. So I think the Q&A is probably where we're going to see our questions.
Okay. So what is a WorkArea which Harvest Workbench provides? So we can, it's a simple definition. Like, WorkArea is a location defined by user on their local file system that is monitored by the Workbench. The WorkArea is associated with a specific Harvest SCM repository, project, state, folder, which internally is nothing but a view path, and show the objects in the hierarchical structure. If you see the picture or in the presentation, you can see the view path is under broker Gosra 01, project WorkArea demo, state development. Inside its view, there is a folder called Eclipse IDE, which we have created as a WorkArea. So this particular folder gets created as a node in the WorkArea. So once it is created, you can close the Workbench, do modifications in your respective IDs, and at the final you can commit all the changes connecting to the server. So how it works we will cover in the next slide. So how WorkArea is defined? Just expand till the view path where you want, where the project is located in the Explorer tree. Just right click on that, do add WorkArea. There will be action add WorkArea. Just click on that. You will be prompted with a context dialog where you need to provide project, state, package, and all the process which you want to use for your SCM operations. Just click OK. Once you click OK, WorkArea gets created and the particular node with all the files gets populated in the WorkArea view. So now the WorkArea node which gets created is a complete set of files which replicates the repository node. So all the modifications which you do will be on the local file system itself. Once a WorkArea is created, the developer can proceed with choice of IDs to perform the changes. Once they are done with the changes, they can go to the WorkArea and do a synchronize operation, which internally compares local changes with the repository. Once that is done, like a sync view gets generated, From there, the remaining tasks would be similar to any typical IDE plugin provides. Like mostly it would be get, compare, commit, revert, all these changes which any IDE provides connecting to SCM control system will be available from this sync view. So if you see this slide, we have plugins for Eclipse as well as Visual Studio. So the last two are the IDs which SCM has plugins. But the first slide, if you see, first picture, if you see IntelliJ node, this is a project which I have opened in the IntelliJ IDE. For this particular IDE, we do not have any plugin. But still, if I want to use, what I do is from the repository, I created a work area and that added that particular work area node in the respective IDE. So from this, like I can do all modifications in my IDE, but while committing, I can go to the work area view and just call synchronize operation. So this seeing this picture itself gets a clear idea, like whatever may be the IDE, ultimately it is managed by the work area view. So what is the synchronization view and what SCM operations are supported from the synchronization view? The synchronization view is a hierarchical structure of a folder that shows files and indicates if they are incoming, outgoing, or conflicting. I'll give more idea on these modes while doing a demo. So for now, you can think synchronization view is a subset of a work area view where we only have the files which are modified. What synchronization view allows the developer? Manage synchronization between work area and harvest repository, evaluate incoming and outgoing changes, commit files to the repository, get files from the repository, compare refactoring changes between local files and repository files, revert local changes. All these I will cover in the demo in a detailed way. So if you see the upper part of the picture represents a work area view. So once you do a synchronized operation, the synchronized view gets generated with all the modified files. If you see the toolbar of the synchronization view, it has all incoming, outgoing, conflict mode with additions, deletions, and changes. These are the couple of filters which SCM provides in the synchronization view. Think of an example where a developer works with the new modified files, existing changes, also delete some files. But while committing it will be quite complex if we have all the changes to be committed in a single way. Think like if one particular folder has both newly added files as well as changed files as well as conflicted files. If you want to commit, this will be somewhat complex to make a decision, like which files to commit, which files not to commit. So here with these filters, what we can filter out is within the view, we can make the changes as grouping, like we can make the view as new only or modified only or deleted only. All these filters I'll explain clearly in the demo. So this then we are left with only 2 slides. So once I demo, then we'll come back to share these two screens. So shall I continue with the demo?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I just shared my screen. Are you able to see?
Not yet. I do not see your screen.
There we go. I can see it now.
Is everyone able to see now?
Yes.
Okay. This is WorkArea Workbench view. I have connected to a local broker here. Inside it, I have a broker project, state, couple of repositories. What I'll do is I'll just right click on this particular folder, do a add to WorkArea action.
So that was a right click, add work area.
Yeah. Maybe in the WebEx it is very slow actually. Maybe there is a problem in the buffering. I'll just explain the context dialog. Here the first node is the package node where you provide the context for this particular node. Like if in SCM every change has to be go through a package. So in order to commit any change or commit any refactoring change or normal commit edited change, it has to go through a package. So first you need to set the context here by providing the package. Later on, click the various options like check-in process, checkout process, all the remaining process. If you're done with the context filling, just click finish. I already have an IntelliJ folder over there actually. So what it did is it has created a node in the WorkArea view. If you see, all the files inside the view path all got generated in the WorkArea view. So now this particular folder gets checked out into the location which we have provided in the context dialog. All the files which are there in the repository gets checked out over here actually in a writable mode. So once this is done, I'll open my IntelliJ IDE. So you see the location of this particular project. Yeah, got it. So now what I'm doing is I have opened that particular node from a IDE which does not have SCM plugin inside it. I'll just open any file, do some modifications. So I'm done with my changes. What I'll do is I'll come back to my WorkArea view. Just click on this particular node. On the toolbar, you will find a synchronize action. like now it is shown as a change in the synchronization view. Just double click to compare this particular change with the repository. See, if you see, my changes are being shown from the WorkArea view. Just close this. Here, as we discussed earlier, like particular ID should be capable to configure external tools for comparing. Harvest Workbench has a provision to configure external tools for comparing. Here, just go to the preferences, click on the compare merge. Inside it, you'll find external compare merge tools option, wherein you will be provided with a tool name option. Here, you can, by default, all these are populated. Even if you have a custom one, you can even select the custom one and configure the particular parameters for that particular ID. So whenever the change is shown in the synchronization view, means there is a change in that particular file. If you see, there are a lot of files in the WorkArea view, but only the modified files are being shown in the synchronization view. So coming to the filters, as I explained, in the synchronization view, there is a modified file as well as the newly added file. So, but I'm not interested in committing or viewing the newly modified file. I'll just go over here. There is a added filter button over here. By default, added, deleted as well as change buttons will be in a toggle mode, like all will be on by default. Whenever you deselect that, select it again, it will get toggled, and that particular newly added file will not be shown from the synchronization view. It will be filtered from the synchronization view. Now you can just go over here, do a commit. So if you observe, like from the root node, there are a lot of files to be committed, but only the modified file has been committed because I have filtered out changes. I newly added changes from the synchronization view. So while committing, it takes care of the files which are displayed under the folder in the synchronization view. So there could be a situation where you don't even want to filter some folders or files while comparing with the repository. So what you can do over here is just in the Workbench preferences, there is a ignore resources preference. Click on that. Add your pattern over here. Like for IntelliJ ID, there is a start.id, which I don't want to sync with the repository. Now just click one more time, synchronize operation. If you see that even though there is a folder with .id, this does not get compared with the SCM repository. Similar way, what I'll do is I'll try to make it incoming modify all those modes with some examples. By default, WorkArea do support some of the default editors, wherein you can directly edit the file over here itself. One file I have edited. One file I'll delete. For one file, I'll make a repository change directly. go to the file system to modify that particular file. Now, if you do a synchronize operation, there should be one outgoing and one incoming. So if you see in the top upper corner of the synchronization view, there are modes actually. The first one is the incoming mode, second one is the outgoing mode, and the third one is the both, fourth one is the conflict. Conflict, I'll create that particular version later. So for now, incoming mode means you're just interested in all the incoming changes for your repository. What it means is you have a copy of a repository, but there are some changes which are yet to come to your local file system. For example, if you have a version 0, there is a version 1 which got created in the repository. So that particular version will be shown as an incoming mode to your synchronization view. It means the later version exists in the repository. Your version which is present in the local file system is an outdated one. So when you select the outgoing mode, what it shows is there are changes like both. You have the latest copy of the version on the file system. Like for example, there is a version 0 and both on your file system as well as in the repository. Both are same. But if you try to modify that one, so on top of the latest repository, you have done some changes. So now when you do a synchronization, this particular file will be shown as outgoing because there are changes which are yet to be committed to the repository. When you click on the, by default, both button mode will be selected. So it shows all. If you see, the synchronization view shows outgoing file. We have locally modified this one. Sample5.java, which shows a local version is a 0 version. In repository there is a version with one mapper version. So the latest change is yet to come to your repository, your local system. And there is also another file, sample3.java, which we deleted in the local file system. Means like in your code, you no more want to have sample3.java. You just deleted that particular file. Even that also gets tracked, and when you commit this particular file, it creates a D tag in the SCM repository. So just I'll show you incoming mode. If I click, what it does is just incoming. See, the sync view gets changed with only the incoming change. When you click outgoing, it shows both outgoing deletion as well as outgoing modified. So in this also, if you still want to see only the changed files, just toggle the deleted button. By default it is selected. Just click on that particular button. Even that also gets removed. So based on your requirement, you can completely shape up the work area view according to your requirement and make a decision which files to commit and not. So again, I'll also show you the example for the conflicted thing. What I'll do is I'll modify this file in both repository as well as locally. So here, if you call synchronize again, so if you observe, like there is a change for sample 6.java file. I have modified in the work area, but there was a change in the refactoring of that particular name of the particular file in the repository. So it shows like there is a new version which is 2 in the repository. There's a local file with sample 6.java. Both are different. So it will be shown as a conflict in your synchronization view. This helps developers like which files to commit, what to compare, and what to take from here itself, from this particular view itself. So earlier, like without this, they have to commit their changes at the time of merging. They need, once MTAG gets created, they need to go to that particular version and resolve the MTAG over there. And by WorkArea, what we are providing is compare the latest changes with the local changes and merge the contents over here itself without even going to that particular instance. So here there is one more button, conflict mode, which you click. It only shows conflict. So this particular view will only be filtered with files which are conflicted changes. So I'll just quickly jump to the presentations part, complete that, and later we can take it questions from the.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Here are some advantages which we'll go through now. We can correlate what we did in the earlier demo actually. What WorkArea provides for the developers. It remains in background, providing capability to work with the files, not repository. Even if you are not connected to the repository, still you will be able to modify the files in offline mode. So as it supports offline mode, we need not commit the changes immediately when we do. WorkArea increases developers' productivity. How it increases means like we need not worry about what files to commit, all those things. It just when you do a synchronous operation, it calculates the differences between the local copy and the remote copy. It just show the differences in the synchronization view. Based on that, you can do a release or get operation from the synchronization view. WorkArea supports concurrent development. As we discussed earlier, there could be some scenarios where 2 or more people want to work on the same file. Earlier, if using Workbench, we have to do using creating a R tag, and no other person can use that particular file. But with WorkArea, what we are doing is we are enabling the changes in the local copy, and when changes are done, finally we are committing those changes to the trunk. So till that time, every other user is free to use the file. So while doing a synchronization operation, he will find that if there is a conflict between the local copy and remote copy, he'll just double click from the synchronization view, compare the contents. Based on his requirement, he can merge the changes and merge the final copy to the trunk. So this is what about the local merges. The next slide, we'll just map between the developers wish list with what WorkArea provides. Developers wish was like to work on their choice of IDs. As we saw the demo, like even though IntelliJ IDE did not had any SCM plugins, still users were able to, we can use that particular ID in order to do development work, still able to connect to the SCM repository using WorkArea. It allows developers to work offline, yes. As it allows, it supports late binding mode. Developers are free to work in offline mode. It supports concurrent development. as described, like it does not create a tag until commit operation is called. So concurrent development is easily possible through this WorkArea. It supports configuring external tools. As I have shown you in the configuration of that external tools, users are free to use their own tools in order to use for the comparison. Through synchronization operation, he always he can always compare local modified files with the repository files. So almost like which we listed in the first slide, which a typical developer would want in some ID connecting to some version control systems, all are possible using WorkArea. So this is about the WorkArea overview, design, and we are open for the questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Sridhar. We did the demo. We are now at the open question section of the presentation. So if any of you have a question, those of you on the phone, #6 to unmute yourself. Len indicated most of you are dialed in through your computer, so if you have a particular question, you can use the Q&A section in the WebEx upper right-hand corner, question mark with the Q&A underneath the little box there. And we will compile that list now.
One actually already came in, Rose, from Vinod. The slide mentioned that WorkArea enables to work on files without actually creating a reserve version. But we saw the WorkArea created in the demo. The context was set using checkout for update. Won't this create a reserve tag against the PAC?
No, actually the process which we use, even though process we use, that's just a name actually. Checkout for update is a process name. Whatever process you give with privileges, update, concurrent update, all those, it just what this WorkArea action does is it checks out in a browse mode, make all the files as a writable files and leave them in the local copy. It does not create any RTAG versions. Did I answer or?
Yes, yeah, he said thank you. Another question is, may I use the WorkArea with NetBeans IDE?
Yes, sure. Any ID you can use. Just create a WorkArea from the workbench, open that particular project from the NetBeans. You modify all your changes in the NetBeans IDE, but when you want to commit, just come to the WorkArea view, do a synchronize operation. Later you can proceed with normal operations like get, release, all those things.
Any other questions, Len? Well, let's first confirm that that did answer the question. And I like the answer. It said, Sridhar said yes to NetBeans.
Well, here's another question from Tony. I have a question concerning project renaming. You mentioned earlier during the presentation that Harvest SCM is not very flexible in renaming and refactoring. Will the next version of SCM address this issue?
That particular line was more of a from a developer perspective, like not from a project wise. Like it's not a limitation on the workbench. Think of a example of a Java package wherein if you rename a package internally, the files should also get renamed from IDE. But when you do the same operation from a from workbench, it is not possible. It just renames a folder and leaves the files as it is. So that intelligence is not there with the workbench. So when you go to the WorkArea concept, so all the intelligence still lies with the IDs. Only the synchronization part gets into the WorkArea. So through this, we have shown us that a particular refactoring part as a limitation from a workbench and added as a option in the WorkArea. Did I answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he said thank you and yes.
And any others, Len?
Not that I'm seeing. Here's one. What can I do if my hold on. What can I do if my software sources are on AIX OS?
As of now, we don't have support for like AX platform, like Workbench support. If you have a Workbench on that particular platform, you can do that.
And then Rose, this is probably more for you. This came from Tony. Will there be any presentations on SCM Administrator in the future?
Absolutely, Tony. Please send us your suggestions if you have a specific topic that you'd like to see presented. If you want a general overview, that's fine as well. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and start a thread in the community with respect to these monthly webcast series, and that'll give everybody in the community an opportunity to submit their suggestion. We're happy to honor any request as best we can. Anything else?
Nothing new in the Q&A box.
Nothing new in Q&A. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull up Sridhar's information, and I want to take this opportunity to thank him for an outstanding session on the Harvest work area. I know that many of you have asked us about this. We are getting the feeling that it's one of those features that's very powerful but not widely used, and we wanted to make more and more of you aware of its capabilities. As I said, we'll start a thread in the community. Certainly send us your thoughts on this webcast. If there's any more detail you'd like us to explore with respect to the work area, we're happy to do that. This is being recorded, so it will be available in the communities. It will be posted in the communities. If you have any trouble accessing the recording or anything else in the communities, please feel free to reach out to myself, rose.sakach@ca.com. That's SAKACH@ca.com. And I want to thank all of you for joining us and for the Q&A session, which is typically the most valuable part of the session. So thanks, Sridhar. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Len. And we'll look forward to seeing you all or hearing you all again next month.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Rose. Thanks, Sridhar.
Thank you. Thank you.